What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. All right, so there's been a lot of talk recently about where the price of DEC is going to go following the airdrop, right? At that point, we know that its primary utility, as dictated by the team, will be going away. And then at that point, the team, in the most recent update that I heard, which was a couple of town halls ago, is they are going to let things shake out and then try to find some additional utility for DEC. So in that time, I do believe that DEC is going to go back to its peg or close to its peg. And the thing is, in more recent or more recently, I've also been talking about how I think it could actually go below its peg. So I want to just take a look here at DEC for the past year. So I'm on Gecko, and one of the things that popped out to me. Well, actually, no. Let's take a look at this first. So you can see here that DEC is trending at or around its peg, leading up to the beginning of the airdrop. And then a little bit before the airdrop, we're just back at the peg. And as soon as the airdrop hits in July, it's just an immediate shooting up of the price. And over the past year, you can see, if the peg is down at this level, right, where this first part is, we have been very, very high above the peg. So that begs the question: where is the price going to go once the airdrop is done? I think that's difficult to say and difficult to tell from a mathematical standpoint. But what I did want to share with you in this video is the total overall supply. Now, going back to CoinGecko. So CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap don't actually show the circulating supply. They just have a nice big question mark here. But Hive Engine does. And I'm going to take Hive Engine at its word. I know that its data isn't completely accurate sometimes, but the thing is, I do believe that most DEC resides either on Hive Engine, in tribal DEX liquidity pools, or within the game, right? And all that exists on the Hive blockchain. So I would take the Hive Engine amount with a certain level of confidence, but of course take everything with a little grain of salt. So where does that actually have us? It's showing us right now, and this is actually worse because there's no commas here, but it's actually showing us with a total circulating supply of 2.2 billion. Now, that sounds like a lot, but then you think about DEC and you're like, oh, well, there's supposed to be a lot of them. So how do I put this in context? Well, the way that we know about this, or the way that we're supposed to think about DEC, if it was supposed to be at its peg, is that it will be printed at a rate of 1 million DEC tokens per day, right? 1 million DEC tokens per day. If we were at its peg. Obviously, if we are above the peg, it prints more, which is why we've had inflation. And if it's below the peg, then it will print less to kind of get us to that equilibrium. So what is that equilibrium? Well, you take 1 million times 365, and you're only at 365 million. Now you add in the 100 million that used to be part of the Uniswap pools, but is now being put back into the ranked battle rewards. And we're sitting at 465 million expected, right? Like, this is what the algorithm wants. This is how the white paper has dictated it to be. And so the system will push for there to be 465 million DEC tokens in circulation at a time, right? Like, that is what it's going to push for. That is the equilibrium that it will always be trying to get back to, whether we are above the peg or below the peg. So what does that mean for right now, where all of a sudden we got 2.2 billion? And actually, I'm going to divide that by 465. We are almost 5 times above the peg in terms of the overall circulating supply, right? This isn't price or current value, right? We're less than 2x or 3x above that. But in terms of what has been the damage, what is the inflationary damage that has happened, or inflationary effect, I should say, that has happened over the past year, we are currently sitting almost at 5x above the peg. So I'm thinking about this, like, obviously inflation is a hot topic across the world right now. At least here in the US, it's a very big topic, and I'm sure many other places as well. But if you can imagine how much how much like inflation is throwing things off here when things are going up by 7%, 8%, this is a 500% gain. This is or 480% gain, right? To be exact. This is a 480% inflation on the token. So right now we are so far above what the algorithm wants, which again leads me to be a little bit more confident in saying that if the team does not intervene, and so far they have said they have no plans to, now that could change. So, everything that I'm saying here could be completely moot in a couple of weeks if during a town hall they say, we're going to do such and such with DEC. But from what they've said in the most recent, not in the most recent town hall, but what they've said most recently in a town hall is that they are going to let this thing ride and see where the dust settles after the airdrop ends. So this is why I'm saying, well, we have way more DEC than there needs to be. Or at least not needs to be, but we have way more DEC than the algorithm has intended for. So going below the peg, it seems very likely to me if there's no intervention. Now, how does this get fixed? What is the resolution here? Well, we are going to have to eat through roughly, what is it? We say 2262 minus 485. No, 465. 2262 minus 465. So we are going to have to eat through, we'll just say roughly 1.8 billion DEC. And we're going to have to burn that. And the only way that we can burn DEC right now is through upgrading guilds. Now, hopefully when land rolls around, that will be another opportunity to burn DEC. And that will add some kind of, complexity to the overall ecosystem and the economics behind the game. But that's far out. It may happen around the time, but from what I'm seeing right now, my guess is that we're not going to have like full functioning land by the end of the year, right? This is going to come out and roll out in phases, so we'll have to see what that looks like. But I don't think it's going to be out by the airdrop. Now, this could have been mitigated if the team had kept Rift Watchers as DEC only versus SPS. So what they did with DICE, for example, is you would buy the packs and you would pay in DEC, and that DEC would get burned. So just another reminder here, or if you didn't know, like the team makes zero money on the mini editions. They make money on the core editions, right? So Untamed, Chaos Legion, but DICE and Rift Watchers and what was it? Orb or Promo before that? Like all of those were a DEC burning mechanism. So now we're not going to have that DEC burning mechanism because that utility was given to SPS. That utility was given to SPS in the sense that SPS isn't going to be burned, but it is going to be given into the DAO where it's not going to be touched or moved. So essentially locked until the SPS governance is up and running and decides, we as a community decide and vote on what we would like to do with that money. So like I said, this 1.8 billion extra DEC that needs to get burned, that's a lot, because let's just take a look at guilds right now. If we go to buildings here, and I'm just going to go to like your guild hall. So to max out a guild to get level 10 is 1 million DEC, but this is cumulative. So 1 million, and then you got 2 million here, 2.5 million, 2.5 million, 2.6 million. We'll just call it 2.7 million. Okay. So 2.7 million to max out a guild. And I'm just gonna give it to you guys rough here. So that means that with the amount of DEC that we have, 665 guilds starting from scratch would need to max out their guild hall. Now, I just made a mistake here. I'm sorry. I'm kind of doing this on the fly because it's not just the hall. You also get the lodge, which looks like, oh no, the lodge you don't need DEC for. You need the arena. Okay, 1.5 million. Okay, so here's the thing. I think during that time, if and when DEC prices go much lower and we go below the peg, folks like me who have a very small but hopefully in the future growing guild will come through and say, hey, DEC is super cheap right now. I'm going to buy a ton and level up my town hall. I wasn't doing this, and our guild wasn't contributing to this over the last couple of months, just because with DEC being 15x above its peg or 10x above its peg over the past 4 or 5 months, it's just been so much more expensive than if you were doing it when DEC was either at its peg or below its peg. So again, right now, this is the only example that I can give you in terms of how to burn DEC and how we eat through that 1.8 billion to reach a certain equilibrium again. But there might be something else that's introduced during that time. Maybe there's a promo card that's used to buy or used as a way to burn DEC, where instead of like SPS, for example, you buy it with DEC and the DEC is burned. Who knows what can happen? A lot can happen between now and August, I should say, or the end of the airdrop, which ends at the end of July. But I just want to share this with you. This is where the numbers are currently at now. If somebody has a more accurate number and can like provide the data backing why this number is wrong or whatever number you have, I'd be very curious to see that. So let me know in the comment section below, and I can make an amendment to this video, or at least a follow up. But right now, this is the only number I have to go on, and I do believe it has a certain level of confidence and accuracy, just due to the fact that most DEC will exist on Hive Engine. So if anything, this could be lower than the amount. Because, for example, I have some DEC that's sitting in Binance Smart Chain in a private wallet, right? And I'm sure many others potentially do too, because you can still earn the airdrop from that, but you don't have the risk of having it in the game. You just have it's a little bit safer by keeping it in a wallet, for example. But that's besides the point. I'm just saying that if we use this number here, it's not outlandish to think that this is real or close to the accurate number. And if you take that to be the actual number, you see just how much DEC there is in existence in the game with no utility in 5 months. So just something to think about. Let me know your thoughts below. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.